Alright, so it's been a long time since I posted a video, but we have a F-150 here, and I had a good running 302 in it about 5 years ago, and we got it for $100 because it was still within the family and they didn't want it no more. So today I'm going to be taking parts off of it and getting this motor ready to be pulled, and the plan is to eventually rebuild this motor and slap it into another truck, and we're going to switch it back to carbureted by switching the intake and all of that. Got my tool set out. I'm going ahead taking the alternator loose. I'm also going to take off the AC compressor and then probably pull off the radiator and the hoses and all that. And eventually the plan is take these fenders, this front clip and that fender off. That way when we pull the motor and transmission, we have nothing in the way and it'll be real easy. This one also had a good set of new tires on it and rims, and they're bullet hole shaped like these ones. So I've already stalled those off and put them onto my other truck. That's the project truck. Eventually I plan on souping it up real nice, but this one had a good motor, it's got good doors, it's got a good bed, it ain't got the rust above the fender like mine does. It's got pretty decent shape interior, so we'll probably be taking most of this, be pulling it apart, swapping the beds out, and then gonna sell the rest of this how it sits. Alright, so I'm probably going to put the time lapse before this part of the video, but I just got the alternator off and I had to set the phone up right here, so it kind of fell, so the time lapse is probably going to be a little bit shitty. Got the alternator off, AC compressor's off. We just decided to go ahead and cut the belt instead of worrying about it. So we've got that off. I'm going to disconnect this real quick. Then we can start working on the radiator, getting it took loose, taking loose all the lines and stuff, and we can see the motor a lot better. Debating, I'll probably leave all that stuff on there instead of pulling off the fan and all that, but I'll go ahead and disconnect as much as I can and get the motor ready to be pulled. I don't know if we'll pull it today, we probably won't. But I'll pick back up here in a minute once I decide what I'm doing next. Okay, so I was going to get the compressor the rest of the way off, and my initial thought was cut these hoses. Right, that goes to your AC. I ain't going to be using this truck. Then I thought I may need them for whatever I put it in, and if I was, then to figure out how to save it. So, looked around at the compressor, seen where it hooked up, and this little block here has one singular 10mm bolt that holds it to the back of the compressor. So rather than cutting your lines like I see on a lot of these older vehicles, people do it all the time, and if you're impatient like me, I was going to. But I looked at it for a second and there's one bolt on the back, and it'll save you from worrying about your lines. Okay, we cut the bottom hose off. I'll let that drain. I would try to save these hoses and belts and everything, but they're dry rotted as crap. And you can tell the radiator may still be good, because it's still some really good colored antifreeze. But like this belt, you can tell how bad it is. So we just cut it. We're gonna cut the radiator hoses as well. There's no point in trying to save them. It's untelling whether they're good or not. The only thing I know for sure that's good on this truck is this intake, this throttle body, throttle position sensor, spark plugs, and wires. Because 5 years ago I owned this truck and I was working on it and I was gonna have it running and everything. But then I moved states, so I sold the truck and it's been traded throughout the family. And now the position it's in, it does not run. So I'm gonna pull the motor out, fix the motor up, because I know the motor can run. It's just it's not getting fuel like it should. Both tanks on here do not work. It's ran off starting fluid, but that was 2 years ago. So we'll pull it, fix it up, put it in something else. Okay, we got the upper hose off right here. I didn't have to cut that one because I could get to the clamps. Unlike this bottom one down here, cut it. But now we're just taking loose all the lines. There's an AC line on this side. And what I plan on doing is right here at this bushing. There's one on each side. At least I believe it's only one that holds this front clip in. Then I'm gonna take it loose from here. I'm gonna get everything off the radiator, but leave the radiator mounted to the front clip and just pull the front clip with the radiator and everything out. And it should have the shroud and everything, and then I'll have a complete front clip off this truck if I was to need it, with the radiator and everything. And judging from that fluid, I would say my radiator is still good as long as it has no leaks. So should have that complete, and I could just take it apart when I need it or set the whole thing off in another vehicle. So we gotta find something for that bottom hose, and then I'll get started on taking everything apart. And hopefully the next time I cut to you, I'm almost got this front clip off, or I'm taking it off, one of the two. Alright, just a little update after an hour or so. We got the bolts out of the front clip. Gotta take these bolts out. Then there's 4 bolts here. Take them out. Take out those 2 bolts. Same on the other side. But we've got this wiring harness that runs behind the radiator. That way we would have had to pull it all the way out when we pulled the front clip. So we went ahead and took the radiator out. This front clip is loose. We've just got to get all this crap off of it before we can pull it off. So we're going to do that real quick. Alright, everything's unhooked from it. As you can see, this side is loose. Got all this loose. Had to take these inner fenders off. That's what he's over there doing. Once he gets that off, we should be able to take this, set it right here on the ground in front of it. Be able to access everything pretty easy. That little bumper stop right there, you gotta pull that for where the hood shuts. Just pulls right out. Now, should be able to just pull this over.
Let me see, I've got something hanging down here. I may have another bolt in it back there.
There you go. go ahead and pull it on out. We can only go so far because that hood latch.
Right. There
we go. Now you can get to everything a lot easier for pulling the motor out. And with leaving the fenders on, you can still close the hood and keep it somewhat protected. Alright, we've got everything out of the way. Here's your front clip. The fan shroud. Got these lines disconnected. Now you can get in here and get to everything way easier. And when we go to pull it, you should be able to just lift up a little bit and go straight out with it. Alright, for y'all it's gonna look like just the next clip, next few seconds, whatever. But I actually changed the fuel filter on my Papa's Jeep after we took a short break. And then I came out and I noticed this bolt already wasn't in on this fender, so that means you just take the hood loose from this side and take out these two bolts and this fender will come off. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna leave that side on so we have some sort of support for the hood. It should be able to hold it on just that side. I'm not worried about bending these or bending the hood or anything. So we'll get this fender off and we can get in everything over here pretty easily, and that'll just make everything 10 times easier, being able to get in from the side or the front. So we'll probably do it on both sides eventually. I don't think we're going to pull the motor today, so we're not going to do that side over there. We'll just do this side. Alright, we have this fender off. You got all your electronic crap there on the side and the center fender. But the hood is holding itself for now. We may take the other side off and then just use a stick, prop the hood up, and let it back down whenever we're not working on it. That way you have all this room to get in and mess with everything that normally you'd have to try to reach from the front. Alright, we've got this other side off. There's one pain in the ass bolt that goes right here. If you're ever going to take these off, you have to look through here, right in between the hinges. And it goes right there in that hole. And then it should be able to come out. We're just getting cleaned up here. We got both the fenders off, as I had said in the past clips. Got the hood just laying over the top of it. It should keep it protected. It's getting later in the evening and there's supposed to be storms coming, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it off here. And don't know when I'll be picking up the next time, but eventually we're gonna take that bed off and we're gonna switch it onto my other truck over there and pull this motor and the transmission out sooner or later. And I'll be doing more videos on that when we get to it. But for now, we'll go ahead and end off the video.